So hello friends, I am Neeraj. Hope you are doing great. So in previous session we have seen how we can add text boxes in our mobile screen, and we are actually building our contact form. So in this session, so let us try to complete our contact form, and we will also see how we can submit the form, and we can get the data from whatever data the user has provided. So let us try to do that, and so we will continue here. So first thing, like I think like we would need to have some label so that we can the user will have the option like what he needs to provide it, and we'll also style it like a label kind of thing, and we will go with we will create a CSS for that. So styles dot, and let's say we will call it label. So we will come here and we will create a new CSS class label, and here we will go with font size equals, let's say 20, and font weight we will go with bold, cause so that it will start appearing a little better. Yes, so right now it's okay. So now it's fine, and let us also try to give it a color. So color should be, let's go with black. So let's save it. Yes, so now it's okay. So this is our first input area, and by the way this should not be a multi-line. So fine, so we are having a text area where input and text box where the user can provide his input. And in order to save the time, so let us copy this, and we'll go and let us try to, this time let us call it mobile number. Okay, and we will change it, enter mobile, and we will also create this state variables very shortly. So we will name it mobile, and let us try to first create it, otherwise it will raise errors. So mobile, and here also call it mobile. So let's save it. So okay, so our form starts appearing a little better, and we will also need one more state variable, and we will call it user query, and let us call it query. Okay, and this time our mobile number should accept only digits. So we will go with keyboard, and we need to set the keyboard type, and here we will pass on numeric. Okay, and again, so let us copy this out, and we will paste it out here, and let us call it, instead of mobile number, so let's call it your query. So our idea is your user will provide some information here. So, and here we can say it, please provide your query. Okay, and we will update it, we will also change it to set query, and here also we will make it query, and instead of keyboard type, so it should be alphanumeric, but the thing is here it should be a text area. So we will go with multi-line, and with multi-line we want, let's say we want 5 number of lines. So we will go with number of lines property, and here we can say 5. Okay, so fine. So right now it looks better. Also I think like we should get rid of it. Let us do change only a little. So let us try to change it to blue, and we will change this button. We'll also add some CSS classes here. So not CSS, actually there is a prop attached to button, so that is color, and whatever color we provide, so this would be your if we type in something like black and let us save it, so it is having a background color. So we will not go with black, rather I think like red should look good. So let us try to save it. So yes, now it looks good. And so actually we have the data, I mean we have the form ready, and all we have to do is we have to get the data whenever user types in, and we will try to submit it. We will simulate it. Okay. So for example, say user types in here, my name is Neeraj Avinash, and in the mobile number, so it is a numeric one, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and so let's say I am fine, how about you, and let us let us try to save it. So the data has been this button is clickable, but there is no way we can see the data. So what we can do is, so on this button we can have a on press event on this button, and we can use that. So on press, and here let us think like we can fire a function. So let's say submit form. So we will need to create this function. So let us try to create this function, and here inside this function, so let's say const submit function. We'll go with arrow function. So here we can have an we are already having all the data in this variable, in the state variables. So we can create a, let's say data, let us call it form data. So form data equals, and here let us try to do an object, so empty object, and now we can iterate it programmatically. Either we can iterate it, or simply we can say something like this, like name. So JSON, we are creating a JSON object, and here we can provide it name. Similarly, like mobile and mobile, and the query, so we will go with query. So our idea is that this form data, so this would collect each and every information from this user input, and we will send this data to our API server. So let us try to see what data comes in when we submit it. So let us call it form data. Okay, so form data, and let us save it. And now this time when we hit the send button, so we should get a warning, the console warning, and we should get the data whatever as per the user input. So let us see that. So yes, we are getting the each and every information, and for the sake of cause this is occupying some space, so let us try to get rid of those spaces, those empty dummy texts. So now when we click on it, so we are getting our data, our form data in this variable, and all we can do is, like I am writing it as a to do, because we can do that. So to do is to make a Axios call, not Axios, rather there are multiple ways we can. So we need to actually make an API call, to our backend server. Okay, so that and we will pass this data, and the way we can pass the data, so however all we have the this data, so we can leverage a JSON dot stringify. I'll try to show you here also. So and here we can pass this form data. So with our API call, all this data would be passed in a JSONified string. So if we do that way, and now if we try to hit the submit button, so again we are getting the same, this data. So but the idea is like this is how we can pass our object data into a string notation, so that our API, our backend server could get the data, and that could also unmarshal it and use and consume the data and do its operation. So here I have already marked it as a to do, so we will complete that thing in coming session, but not now, because there are other things which we need to learn first. And moreover, like this is so this form is a plain form, and we also need to, there could be like there are lots of validation that would be needed. So the easiest, however, we can add those validation by ourselves also, or otherwise like we can use a already ready-made plugin available, so that is known as React Form Hook. So I'll provide the link in the description. You just search in Google about React Form Hook, and it is the first link you will get. So this makes the form handling very easy, and with lots of options already available. So this is available for the both, and this works well on both on website as well and the React Native as well. So you can check out the documentation here. So click on the get started, and so we will install it, and we will be using this library, this package in our application, so that we can save our time, and we can have all sort of validation across our form components. Okay, so this is the thing. So let us wind up the session for today, and hope you enjoyed this session. And if you have any question, doubts, so please do let me know, and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. So till then, take care and happy coding.